So the topic of best practices around social media and whether Christian organizations should or should not use social media, there's a lot of arguments that go back and forth on it. Let's kind of take those two separately. First of all, some best practices around it, which I've referenced a couple of times. One is really understanding the community you're trying to reach. Who are you trying to reach? Where are those individuals, and understanding that. Tailoring your message to the needs of those individuals would really be number two. Understanding their need, tailoring your message to those individuals. Understanding the platforms they're on and using and leveraging those platforms for those particular individuals. Creating a media schedule, because even social media, which is supposed to be consistently inconsistent, not consistently consistent. Because if you send out your tweets or your posts at the same exact time, at the same day of the month, and so forth, it becomes too predictable. Social media is supposed to be more natural than that, but you don't want it to become so unthought of that you're just doing it once on Monday and maybe you'll get to it in 2 weeks from now. You need to have a calendar built out of what's being sent, when it's being sent, through what channels is it being sent. So following that and realizing that you're trying to go from engagement all the way to influence are some of the best practices that you need to consider. Now the question of, as Christian organizations, should we use social media? How do we engage with social media? And I think we've got to be careful there, because there's kind of two trains of thought on, should we use that as a medium? Is it right to use that as a medium? Is it personal enough to use that as a medium? Again, I'll go back to, think of the influences that we're getting on a daily basis through social media. So most of the population, as we've already seen, is already there. We're on social media, we're on the internet, we're being bombarded by this information. And if you really look at the information we're being bombarded with, a good chunk of that tends to be negative information, or tends to be trying to get you to motivate about your own personal desires, and you want to buy this because you look cool, or you'll feel cool, or whatever the case might be. So that influence is there irregardless of what a Christian organization does on social media. We're seeing that every day. Teens are feeling it, young adults are feeling it, seniors are now feeling it across the board. So the question it's not is it right or is it wrong, is it how do we combat the forces that are coming against us negatively? Can we really do it without the use of social media is really the question. Once we identify that we probably can't do it because we're doing one-on-one relationship, which is the strongest, they're doing one-to-many relationship, which has the greatest influence, unfortunately, how do we bridge that gap? Do we want to go quite to that level? Not so sure, probably not. But do we want to have some type of social media presence to try to get rid of some of that negativity that's out there? In my personal opinion, I think that's the only way we can combat the negative influences that are coming in.